Good evening, fight fans. This is the Radulich and Broadcasting Network alternative commentary for the fight of the century, the rematch, the heavyweight championship of the world. Deontay Wilder, the WBC heavyweight champion, faces once again his arch nemesis, Tyson Fury, the Lineal heavyweight champion, I guess. I'm Mark Radulich, your host of these proceedings, and joining me tonight is the last man standing, the king of MMA coverage on 401mania.com, the host of Damn You Hollywood here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, and a bad mother in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Robert Winfree. How do you do, sir?
Okay, just for the record, I want everyone to understand something, because Mark and I have done a couple of these, and I get the feeling you guys prefer the other potential partners he has in this particular endeavor. and I don't blame you. Here's how this happened. Mark originally scheduled this for himself and John Moore. When he did so, he contacted Pat Mullen and me. He said, Pat, I'd really appreciate you being second string on this in case John falls through. And Pat said, all right, I might get drunk enough to watch this fight. And then he said, Robert, if everything goes tits up, I need a second voice on this. If your coverage for MMA does not conflict, are you free? I should have known better than to accept the third string position with those two ahead of me. But, alas, John was not able to be here. Pat was not able to be here. Consequently, you are stuck with me. My apologies.
If it means anything to you, and I'm sure it won't, you are the last man standing, but you were not the last person. Because if you
were you gonna hold your wife hostage on this?
I certainly was, Ollie, tied to a chair, feeding her Dunkin' Donuts coffee and sugar and cocaine and whatever else I could get my hands on to get her through this. Let me tell you how much she hates boxing, and not because of the violence. She finds it dreadfully boring. And like she loves wrestling. She'll watch all the wrestling with me. She likes going to the wrestling events. She'll watch MMA, though if it gets too bloody, she's not as into it. She doesn't like the sight of blood. Boxing is next to Ambien in terms of making her bored to death and sleepy. And she was
I'm falling on this grenade for your wife.
More or less. Yeah,
I am single-handedly saving your marriage is what I'm doing.
If it makes the medicine go down that much easier, yes, you're taking a bullet for Melissa.
This is the only one I will take for her, for the record. But okay, fair enough.
All right, so we are enough of that. We are covering the rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to John Moore and Pat, who came for the preview but left for the fight. But we gave her...
They got the good end of the deal.
We gave her analysis. We made our predictions. Again, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it, but either way, you want to give me 50 words or less here on what we learned from the first fight and what you predict will happen in the fight tonight.
What we learned from the first fight is that a catastrophically large number of people, several of whom are professional judges, can't score boxing bouts properly. There is no way.
Did we really learn that night, or didn't we already know that?
No. We knew it was corrupt. Okay, we knew boxing was corrupt. There's a startling level of incompetence that goes into, hey, Deontay Wilder won that fight. Like, no, he really didn't. So we learned that. If you're talking about what we learned from a technical perspective, Tyson Fury has one of the most unbelievable recoveries you can possibly imagine. I thought he was dead.
Yeah,
like that right then left lands, and Deontay Wilder starts celebrating and posturing, and everybody thinks it's over. And then Tyson Fury, all like 6'9", giant gypsy king of him, decides like, nah, I'm gonna sit up.
Like the Undertaker.
Yeah, that comparison has been made. He rises up and then proceeds to resume beating the crap out of Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury is very obviously the superior boxer. That was never in dispute. The only question was whether or not he could maintain the level of near perfection necessary to deal with someone who hits as hard as Deontay Wilder for a full 12 rounds, especially when Deontay Wilder, for all of his technical shortcomings, Deontay Wilder has a couple of things that work for him in his favor. One is, again, his raw power. If I need somebody to get between me and a charging deer, like, that's the guy. Like, there's a few guys I have. I want him to punch an animal that's charging at me and make it stop, like, because he can do that. Wilder's also always superbly conditioned. He's one of the few heavyweights who can fight without a significant drop-off in productivity over a full 12 rounds if necessary.
Let me just jump in here. They're doing the ring walks right now. Tyson Fury is being carried out in a throne. He is wearing a crown, and he has a furry red robe.
Tyson Fury is a man of the people who understands presentation and what the market wants in so many ways.
Yeah, this is amazing. Please continue.
Oh, but I just was so hoping he'd have one of those generic Reebok kits. Sorry, my bitterness at the UFC at the moment is rather high. That is a magnificent entrance. We really need just half a second to appreciate the magisterial imagery of Tyson Fury being... He's not being carried, for the record. There's a motorized cart under that. Those poor women are not lugging his fat ass around.
I had the pleasure of recording with Larry Zonka of 401 Mania earlier today, and for just a brief moment we talked about the fact that Triple H isn't going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. It may never do so again, for all we know. And I said I'm fine with that because he's never going to top the WrestleMania entrance in San Francisco with the Terminator robot, which is my all-time favorite. This rivals that.
Tyson Fury, again, is a showman of the highest order. And I, for one, appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I love a good pageant.
All right, so back to the point.
Yes, sir.
What do we know? What do we learn about them in their first fight again? Fury, vastly superior boxer. Underrated power, actually. Rewatching that fight, Fury wobbles Wilder a couple of times. Once in the first round, kind of near the end, and then again, I believe it was in the fourth. He connects with punches, and Wilder's legs are not all the way there. He doesn't go down, and he doesn't, do the funky chicken. But if you watch his legs after those hits, he is not stable. He got his bell rung a little bit. And Tyson Fury is not a big puncher, historically speaking. He can stop you, but he's not a one-punch guy. We also learned a little bit about Wilder, actually, in that fight. Again, his cardio and something about his persistence. He was trying the same thing really over and over again in that fight, and eventually it worked. And he was lucky to escape with a draw. The bigger question is what adjustments can each man make going into this fight, and both men are heavier than their previous encounter. In fact, Deontay Wilder weighed officially, I believe, 230-something, which is the heaviest he's weighed in his last 4 or 5 fights, I believe. Certainly his last 3.
Yeah, the analysis team kept saying he has more of a frame of a basketball player than he does a boxer.
Yeah, he has put some muscle mass on. He seems to value his ability to more consistently thud into Tyson Fury here rather than do a lot of the same headhunting. For his part, Tyson Fury is also heavier. I believe he was 270-something. Fury has been stating publicly. Now, whether he is simply trolling or this is genuine, I leave up to more discerning minds than mine. He says he is going to try to knock Deontay Wilder out in this fight. He proved he was the superior boxer, and they took a decision away from him, is his line of thinking. So he left his previous trainer and got with the Crunk guys, and he has been spending a lot of time working on sitting down on his punches. He's heavier. I expect him to engage in much more infighting in this fight. That seems to be what he's indicating. He wants to do some leaning onto Wilder, maybe wear him out that way, build up some more blood and lactic acid in his newly developed musculature, and then try to finish him. I think we're going to see something that is, in many respects, different from their first fight, at least on Tyson's end. Deontay Wilder doesn't have a lot of plan Bs, like plan B through Z. There's plan A, and he kind of just does that until it works. Fury has a lot more options. Now, that doesn't mean he's a shoo-in to win by any stretch of the imagination. It means he can take different tactics, whereas Wilder's got a left hand. Excuse me, a right hand. I mean, he has a left. He's not, an amputee or anything. But his left hand is not much of a threat. You have to be mindful of it, but it's not his weapon of choice. And, in fact, if you listen to some of the pundits who were talking about this fight, they were begging Wilder, like, you've got a left hook, you've got a jab in there somewhere, I know you do. Try an uppercut, maybe. And those are not what Deontay Wilder is known for. So, again, both men heavier. Both men, I think, are not going to want this to go the distance. Fury doesn't really want to take the risk associated with prolonged fighting of Deontay Wilder because it's dangerous. The longer you're in there with that man, the greater the chances he has of hitting you. And if
ask Luis Ortiz,
who boxed extremely well for 7 rounds and then got hit once and fell over like a cross-eyed donkey. I don't mean that to be, somehow insensitive to him. I mean, if you've never seen a donkey go cross-eyed and fall over, they bear a remarkable similarity in terms of how he fell. So there's that. I'm more curious about how Tyson Fury decides to fight this fight. If he wants to do what he did last time, he can probably replicate the vast majority of his success. He is, again, far and away the superior boxer. He has better defense, he has better movement, he has better volume punching. But if he's serious about trying to finish this, that opens up some very interesting lines of possibility here. As we see Deontay Wilder with his entirely perfunctory belt.
Yes, and he was flanked on either side by pictures of great African Americans throughout history, from Harriet Tubman to I think it was one of them might have been Etta James. It's the famous baseball player that crossed the color line.
You horrible racist. That would be Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, pretty sure he was in there.
He was.
So Deontay Wilder putting himself amongst the greats. Fantastic.
Well, if no one else will, he might have to.
Yeah. So, the big question, pick me a winner.
I lean towards Fury, not hugely. Again, Deontay Wilder has the equalizer of all equalizers at heavyweight right now.
Yeah, he'll lose fights till he wins it with one punch.
Yeah. But I thought, again, full disclosure, I thought Fury won their first fight. I think most sane people agree with that. And yes, Mark, I know how you scored it on rewatching. My statement stands.
I am nothing if not one to run up the down staircase.
Yeah, you're that guy. So I lean towards Fury in the rematch, but not heavily.
For the record,
I think what's the best way to phrase this? I feel very confident about very slightly favoring Tyson Fury.
So that's a definitely maybe. Got it. For the record, and I've stood by this, standing in line at a Zaxby's, on Twitter, on Facebook, in chats, on podcasts, that I think this goes all 12 again, and that I think this time Fury ekes out a decision. I think both of them are going to start this off Roadhouse style. I think you're going to see a lot of action in the beginning. You might even see a knockdown or two. But I think both men, after both men come into this wanting to end it early and not being able to, will settle in and will end up getting a decision victory. And quite frankly, even though when I rewatched it, I scored more rounds for Wilder than I did Fury, which I know which you and other people have said that's utter lunacy. I concede that Tyson Fury is technically the better boxer, and I don't mean technically on a technicality. I mean he is a technically more proficient boxer. His boxing prowess is more technically proficient. So I think he'll outbox Deontay Wilder after they settle in, say, round 4 and 5.
So you think we get about 9 minutes of utter chaos, followed by Tyson Fury going, you know what, nuts to this, you can't do anything to me.
Yes. I think Tyson Fury absorbs Deontay Wilder going Roadhouse in the beginning. I think Tyson Fury loses the first 3 rounds, and then remembers he's a better boxer. He can be very evasive. He needs to not fight in a phone booth with Deontay Wilder.
You know, there's actually some intrigue behind that for me. Deontay Wilder is not great in the phone booth. Wilder excels in 2 spaces primarily. One is at the far end of his reach, because he has a long reach. He's at the wrong end of it as it relates to Fury, but the man has long arms. If he can engage you consistently at that range, he is very good there. He's also very good getting you coming into him. If he's not just going to, bum rush you and get you out of there. If you look at the Ortiz finish, he gets Ortiz to step forward at a just unfortunately timed angle and blasts him. But if you look at where Ortiz had a lot of success against Deontay Wilder, it was in the pocket. And it was making him be the one to have to exit on uncomfortable angles, making him be the one to absorb the higher volume of work. And if Fury's serious about getting in close, setting his feet, and kind of working from there, again, Wilder certainly has the power to make a difference there, but that has not really historically been his best operational distance.
If you looked at the scorecards, and I don't want to belabor this point, but I went back and reviewed them for the purposes of the preview, and, okay, I'm the only lunatic who gives that first round to Deontay Wilder. Fine, I'll own that. I thought he landed more than what's recorded on CompuBox and what everyone seems to agree, that that he didn't actually land so much as he threw, and a lot of those shots did not land as cleanly as I thought they did. Fine. Thankfully, I'm not a professional boxing judge.
Hey, in all seriousness, I mean, I give boxing judges and MMA, combat sports judges, I give them a mountain of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I do so absolutely with the appropriate caveat. What they do is very, very difficult to do in real time the way they have to do it.
Yeah.
It is not easy. The fact that even though I know it's not easy, and there's still instances where I want to grab someone and throttle them, hearing some of the scorecards, is why I feel okay about saying, no, you're a bunch of morons. Like, I'm not saying that about every scorecard. I'm not saying that about close fights, because it is very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm. I always found MMA scoring to be easier than boxing. You have to have a much finer eye for landed punches, I think, than you do with MMA, just because of the variety of attacks that you've got. I think it makes it easier. Maybe I'm crazy. The point that I was getting
you also, not to belabor the point, you also, when you were doing a lot of like, hey, I'm scoring fights, that was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 years ago.
Yeah.
The sport mixed martial arts has become significantly more sophisticated over that period of time.
That's fair.
Not to say that your point is incorrect, because it's not, but the days of, I get a takedown and then hold top position for 3 minutes, that's not really a thing anymore.
When I was judging, I was also judging amateur MMA here in Florida, so there's that.
Well, amateur MMA is, you saw some stuff.
The point that I was getting to was that I didn't think... Tyson Fury definitely had that one shot, which upon re-review, you saw Deontay Wilder's legs get wobbly. But I actually thought Deontay Wilder was more active in that first round, and that's why I gave him that's why I gave him the first. But the next 3 rounds, almost across the board, I believe, went to Deontay Wilder. And we are about to see this fight get underway here. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if Deontay Wilder comes out. He certainly looks relaxed. I wish he'd get up a little bit more for these. I think he's got a hell of a personality, and I think there's potential there for him to be a crossover mainstream star, and I'm hoping...
The man has been... He can't. He's too meme shy. Ever since that... what was it? Since day one, meme of him barking at that reporter came out... I think he is very cognizant of just how stupid he might look.
All right, here we go. Round 1. And Tyson Fury ran to the middle of the ring. He's definitely up for this.
And he is, he's really looking to engage early. I think he's hoping to catch Wilder a little bit cold.
And Deontay Wilder looks like doing a lot of what he did in the first fight, which is just wanting to throw that single jab to the body. I wish he'd quit doing.
Yeah, he does not bring that back into proper position either when he throws it. He is wide open for either pullback counter rights, check left hooks.
Good counter jab there from Deontay Wilder.
Wilder showing the jab, actually, which is something of a rarity.
Straight right from Deontay Wilder. I'm not sure how much of that caught Tyson Fury.
Well, because I live in a state that does not get proper feeds, I will tell you in a couple of seconds Mark and I are not synced up as far as that goes. So apologies if some of this is a little bit off, guys, but we work with what we have.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, that didn't land. That fell short. Yeah, Wilder already getting wild in his pursuit of Fury, to the extent that when Fury makes him chase him.
All right, Tyson Fury comes forward, throws a series of punches there. Very aggressive with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder not as aggressive as I want him to be, not as active as I want him to be. He's given away this round, I think.
Yeah, again, the Ortiz fight was a very bizarre fight for him in terms of just how slow he started. He looked like his feet were in mud for, 6 rounds of that fight.
But he went into that with a different plan, which was fine. And we don't need to go over it again.
Oh, no. I bring that up just because if Tyson Fury is trying to get into his head a little bit and get him back into that kind of a headspace, that's not a bad plan, actually.
And that's fine, but my contention was that Deontay Wilder was trying to end this early because he kept saying he wanted to end this early. Now, I will tell you, if I want to end something early, I would be a lot more active than what he's currently showing.
Well, what's early, in all fairness?
Fair enough.
I mean, he wasn't saying in the first round.
Oh, looks like
he might have been lying.
Looks like, it's funny because in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, if anyone's lying about trying to end this early, it's probably Tyson Fury. But just because Tyson Fury, I think, is a head games kind of guy. And it looked like Deontay Wilder just tried to club Tyson Fury in the back of the head.
Well, he ate a left hook and then badly missed on one of his windmill rights. a little bit before that.
So I'm going to do something novel. I'm going to actually write down my scores here. And that first one, I'm going to give Fury 10-9.
Tell you what, I will write down mine as well, and we will have just a grand old time with this. And for the record, I agree with you. Round 1, 10-9 Fury.
So while we wait for this minute to pass by and the corners to clean up our fighters, give me in 20 words or less, Felder versus Hooker. I tuned in at round 3 because I saw on Twitter you were like, oh, here come the violence. So I turned it on. They were in round 3. And then for the next 2.5, 3 rounds, I went, it's fine.
It was a bit more of a slow-paced fight than I think a lot of people were expecting, but those two, that was a brutal 5-round fight from those two.
Yeah, sure.
They did serious things to each other. Felder's right eye was swollen nearly shut. Both of them ate like several calf kicks and were limping around badly. They went to the hospital together.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Great picture.
Yeah, no, by the end of it, they definitely look like they've been through the windshield as we begin round 2 here. Deontay Wilder a little bit more active here. He does like that one single... I mean, I guess technically it's a punch. He just sort of arm punches, just sort of stiff arms to the body. I don't love it. I don't know why, and maybe you can educate me here, I don't know why he thinks that would be successful or helpful.
There's a couple of things that you can do with that. The biggest one is actually trying to set up your right.
Sure.
Because you can do the same shoulder motion as the jab to the body and then come with the overhand right, and they're expecting the jab to the body.
And he did just show that. He threw one of those to the body and then came around with a big right. He just missed.
Yeah, it's not a terribly sophisticated setup, but it is a setup. A left hook from Fury there. That got his attention. Wilder, that's why he's kind of doing that. I mean, some of it might be to kind of slow Fury down. It's to get him thinking about something to score a few points. And the shoulder setup to follow with the right hand or to just show that and fake and then throw the right is relatively easy. It's about the most sophisticated setup as far as straight setups go for Wilder. Wilder's better about setting traps than he is about actually setting things up. Which, to his credit, like, setting traps is also a very difficult skill set, and he's relatively good at that.
Tyson Fury with a lot of movements, that herky-jerky that we've talked about so much.
He is feinting the pants off of Wilder. Wilder is biting, maybe not in full motions, but he's biting on anything Fury's showing him.
Big overhand right there from Deontay Wilder. Sorry, folks. Brief technical difficulties there, but we are
back in round 3, and Deontay Wilder is on those chicken legs. Fury has wobbled him badly this round a couple of times with rights.
And he just went down. He's back on his feet, but he took a count there.
Yeah, that was a very legitimate knockdown.
Yeah, I've just to deal with the technical difficulties, I wasn't able to follow along with what was happening. Nice near takedown attempt by Deontay Wilder.
Wilder's the first boxer that goes for the old double leg, they're the one that's in trouble. You can see Wilder
done.
Yeah, he is not having a good time right now. Fury has been clubbing him this round. And again, Fury, not the biggest power puncher in the world.
Okay, so I want to say we lost sound somewhere in round 2, and then we picked it up again right at the end there of round 3. So 50 words or less. Sum everything up for me.
I have Tyson Fury. Gave Tyson Fury the second. Just superior jabbing, superior evasion, superior work. The third round now, big 10-8 for Tyson Fury. That man is serious about finishing this fight. Holy crap.
I did mention that. So that's Fury 10-9 in the second. I really can't debate with you there. And then Fury again, round 3.
So yeah, I'm 30-26 Tyson Fury right now. And Deontay Wilder does not look like... he doesn't look like he's all there.
You know, I started to talk about this with John and Pat last night. I said, I think in the face of adversity, Deontay Wilder mentally doesn't have it all together.
If he can't just get mad and hit you really hard, yeah, he struggles. Yeah. Whereas, Tyson Fury is a man who, whatever else you want to say about him, that man overcomes in his personal life and in his professional one.
Yeah,
that was a clean right, and he did the flare flop.
Tyson Fury is affable. I mean, not even getting into his charisma. I mean, just watching him fight in the ring, he kind of, he gets hit, and he's one of these, and it kind of drives me nuts with some of these guys, but he's definitely one of those, like, if you hit him and you rock him, he was like, oh, good one, and then keeps coming.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal's fond of telling stories about Hakeem Olajuwon.
Jesus Christ. That's
Whoa.
Not a knockdown, but Deontay Wilder just went ass over tea kettle.
His legs are not under him at all. His arms and his posture have stiffened up. He's scared.
Is he bleeding from the ear?
I think so, yeah.
Uh-oh. Tyson Fury just got him in the body, and Deontay Wilder again got wobbly.
Yeah, point I was trying to make, Shaquille O'Neal's fond of telling stories about Hakeem Olajuwon being the only guy he couldn't rattle when they fought. Anytime he'd throw and catch him with an elbow and the ref wouldn't see it, Olajuwon's response was, "That was a good one, big fella." In that, wonderful accent of his, and then they just keep going. So Fury's got a little bit of that. Yeah, you can hit him, but he doesn't care. And right now, yeah, he is putting that into full effect. Deontay Wilder's legs are not there. His posture is broken. His head is not in this fight. He's going to swing for the fences for as long as he can. We see Fury now. Anytime Wilder ducks in, Fury's going to lean on him and suck some more of his energy. Wilder getting more desperate with that right. It's not being set up properly. He's just swinging it because he doesn't know what else to do. His corner's going to have a heck of a time getting him back into this fight mentally, especially after this round, assuming the round continues the way it's been going. He is not in this fight right now from a mental standpoint. I'm not calling for anyone to throw in the towel.
No, but I don't think he's physically done. I don't think he's taken so much damage the referee has to save him from trauma.
But he is wobbly, man. Look at his upper body anytime they break. He wobbles.
Mentally, he is checked out.
Yeah, and that can be rectified. He can get back into it. But Fury hitting him in the body anytime they enter into a clinch, Wilder really ducking his head into that, which is letting Fury then kind of lean on him for a few seconds. And again, strap an extra 270 pounds to your upper body and have it lean on you while you doubled over at the waist. That sucks.
So that is the end of round 4, and I think conceivably you'd have to give that one to Fury.
There's a 10-8 argument in that round to be had. I'm not saying that's where I'm going, but that argument exists, and I don't think it's wrong.
No, and that's fine, but nobody judging this fight is going to give that a 10-8 round.
No one officially.
Yeah, no one officially.
Again, I came close, but I elected not to. So at the moment, 40-35 Fury overall.
Okay, so they just showed on the replay. Tyson Fury comes over the head, and yeah, Deontay Wilder just loses his balance and falls over.
His legs are not there. He should not have been pushed over essentially that easily.
Mm-hmm. And Tyson Fury looks very fresh.
Yeah, he's put on some weight for this fight, but he seems to have done it correctly. He's carrying it very well.
Big right hand from Tyson Fury. Clubbing right hands from Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury... Okay. That looked like and again, back of the head shot from Deontay Wilder. But Tyson Fury looking like he's found the winning strategy here, which is ugly this up, which I love. Because I say that to fighters when they're losing. But Tyson Fury knows that if he can beat Deontay Wilder mentally, then eventually he'll win this physically. And so he's not letting Deontay Wilder do any of the things Deontay Wilder likes to do in the ring. And it's messing with Deontay Wilder big time.
Yeah, Wilder very clearly had an expectation for how this fight was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not getting that at all, and he does not have plan B, C, D, or E.
Tyson Fury fond of the headlock.
Well, Wilder's giving it to him. And they're close fighting it.
There it is. Knockdown. Another 10-8 round for Fury if they don't stop it altogether.
Yeah, Wilder, he is not here, man. He is not here.
I mean, I think because this is such a big-time fight, until he gets legit 10 counted, they're going to let this keep going until...
Fury is abusing him anytime they tie up. He's hitting him to the body. He's getting in uppercuts when they're legal. To his credit, I don't think he's thrown any illegal uppercuts.
Jesus Christ. If he keeps doing that, though... So Deontay Wilder basically stepped back away from Tyson Fury and tripped over his own feet.
There's a very real argument Wilder's corner should stop this.
No,
I'm not saying they will.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but hear me when I say there's so much money and so much publicity on this fight. There's probably, they talk about, and they've said this in MMA, this is like a Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin kind of a thing, where it's like, just let it go, give the people what they want. All eyes are on this. I mean, they were talking earlier today about this might be a new dawn for heavyweight boxing and all of that. So,
well, there's a lot. For the record, these two are guaranteed like $50 million, I think, in total, if not each.
Mm-hmm.
Their fight purse is $5 million apiece. I might be misremembering this. I apologize, but these two are making a lot of money for this fight. They've tried to market this as a huge fight for not just the heavyweight division, but for the cultural zeitgeist. They want this to be a touchstone.
Yeah, well, they talked earlier about how this broke the live gate, and I don't know if that's because they set up chairs in the hallways or what. But it's like I don't know how papered this is.
Seems pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
For the record.
Well, that's good.
Fury is manhandling.
Fury has quit boxing is what he has. He's just beating the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, this is not a boxing match. This is a leg breaker.
Yeah. Though to Deontay Wilder's credit, lest anyone accuse us of being marks for Tyson, which we are not, I just call it as I see it. And going into this, big Deontay Wilder fan, so put that back where it belongs. Deontay Wilder ended that round with a bit of an exclamation point of his own. He just left hooked Tyson Fury. And yeah, there's a lot of blood coming out of that ear. That's not good. Yeah, first of all, he probably has a concussion.
Almost certainly. And yeah, that left hook from Wilder didn't even faze Fury. Wilder's right eye is damaged. For the record, we have another 10-8 for Fury.
Yeah.
So 50-43.
Well, we are almost at the halfway point of this fight, and unless you 10-8 Fury in the next 5 rounds consecutively, I don't see how Deontay Wilder wins this on points.
At this point, numerically, I don't think it's realistically possible. And in 2 more rounds, if he loses them both, it will not be possible numerically. Fury is boxing magnificently for this fight.
Is that what we're calling it?
Well, look, don't get me wrong. I get your point about him at this point. Like, he doesn't need every bit of his technical acumen. But his ability to alter his strategy to make this more of an ugly fight, he is fighting. Okay, instead of calling it boxing, he's fighting a masterful fight relative to his opponent.
This is an exciting, brutal, violent fight.
Oh God, he is just clubbing him in the corner. Good grief!
Yeah, I'm a little ahead of you. So I've seen
that
already. But no. All right. So where are we here?
Another really bad round for
Wilder.
Deontay Wilder. I'm giving Fury a 10-8 in that round, actually. He didn't get a knockdown, but...
Right, I'm going to go 10-9, round 6. We are in round 7.
I don't think Wilder landed a single effective punch that whole round. Mm-hmm. Fury is... this is getting uncomfortable. Fury is beating him that badly. Deontay Wilder wants a way out of this fight. For the record, my scorecard would now be 60-51
Yeah, that was a
big
big left
Fury.
from Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder stumbled back. But Tyson Fury remained composed and didn't follow up.
Fury's in no hurry at this point. Like, look at the posture of these two guys. Look at the body language. Fury wants a finish. But at this point, he's left no doubt about the scoring.
Yeah.
The most crooked judge in the world could not give this to Deontay Wilder. And Fury still... God, that left. The right side of Wilder's face is a mess. Fury was wearing a bunch of Wilder's blood after that last fight that kind of got sprayed on his face and head and shoulders.
Yeah, his left ear is a mess.
There's at least a ruptured eardrum there, bare minimum.
Which explains a lot of why he's Pinocchio legs and falling all over the ring.
Yeah, if you've never... In part, again, there's fatigue, there's concussive force, there's your equilibrium being shot, there's your ego and emotions collapsing around you as you are embarrassed by this human being in front of you.
We're going to see an end to it here. Tyson Fury... Yeah, we're done.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
He just had him in the corner and was wailing on him, and it was it. And Deontay Wilder is now pissed they stopped it.
Wilder has no reason to be upset about that stoppage.
Yeah.
None. Like, he was doing nothing. Like, he comes out right before he gets finished, and he throws 3 punches, all of which miss badly. And after that, Fury decides, okay, into the corner you go, and this time I'm not going to clinch up with you. This time I'm just going to abuse you, and we're done.
And I think that's a good stoppage. I think
I'm completely okay with that stoppage.
There's probably some people, on boxing Twitter, like, oh, they should have let him fight out of it. Tyson Fury had him trapped there, and Deontay Wilder not known for his great footwork, especially as messed up as he is. Like, how was he going to get out of the corner?
Yeah, and especially if that was in fact a ruptured eardrum and not just some the starting of a cauliflower ear. You really don't want to take repeated concussive blows like that to a ruptured eardrum. That can result in permanent hearing loss.
Right. No, he can be pissed all he wants, and that's a very common thing in combat sports. To be like, oh, I wanted to keep fighting, blah blah, yakety schmackety. But the reality is, and we've talked about this with other stoppages, and John and I actually got into a back and forth about this with a previous fight that we did. The referee's job is in part to save you from yourself. When you are refusing to give up in a situation where you are beat to shit.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many people upset with that stoppage.
Everyone's just comfortable, like, okay, we're good.
Nope. I'm gonna double check this a little. There's a little bit of a question about whether or not Bayless may have gotten a sign from Wilder's corner that they were stopping it. So we'll need to wait and see if some clarification on that front comes. And to be fair, if his corner stopped it, good stoppage from his corner. Like, kudos to them. I'd argue it should have been stopped earlier.
Okay, so we in a situation where the referee didn't necessarily stop it. It was the corner was signaling, "Hey, stop the fight."
Yeah,
Okay.
that seems to be the question. That is again.
That
it looks like
that would certainly explain then why Deontay Wilder started screaming at his corner.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like Bayless waves it off and then tells Wilder, "Your corner stopped it." And again, to the credit of Wilder's corner, one of the big things they're saying is, "Your ear's done. Do you want to be able to hear?" And as soon as the adrenaline wears off, I think I'm not saying Wilder will be okay with the stoppage, but his anger is not going to last about that. Like, that was a totally fair,
good Christ,
and reasonable call.
Bad left hook. I don't want to give the writer's name, but bad left hook in their live coverage gave that second round to Wilder.
Okay, that man needs to be ridden out of town on a rail.
Gave round 5 to Fury, but made it 9-8. I guess he lost a point.
There may have been a point deduction in that round. Again, we can't hear very well.
We can't hear at all. I have the volume down. But every other round was first round, round 1, 10-9, Fury.
Yeah, I think the ref might have deducted it. He did seem to indicate that's what was going on with Fury in that round, so there might have been a point deduction that we missed.
Round 3, 10-8, round 4, 10-9, round 5, 9-8, round 6, 10-9, and then a warranted TKO in the 7th. Wow. All right. Tyson Fury.
Yeah, you can see the referee point to Wilder's corners. Wilder asks him Wilder goes to get angry, and the ref points him towards his corner, like, Bulls, just get over there because you've been hitting the head a lot. And that was as much their call as mine.
Yep. Yeah, I obviously, and if this wasn't already obvious, I'm okay with it. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. For some odd reason, my computer was just having the farts tonight, and so you might get kind of a chunky recording here, but we're doing the best we can with what we got with the Deontay Wilder of podcasts. With that said, Tyson Fury, right? I guess he gets whoever the WBC mandatory challenger is at this point. So he gets the ring. He's the lineal champion again, having never lost.
He never lost that.
Yeah, well, again, he walked away from boxing to deal with his personal / substance abuse issues.
Well, hang on. He took a sabbatical. He never retired. There's a difference.
What I didn't say. Did I say retired?
No. That's for the general purposes of clarification.
I was like, I don't think I said that.
No. That was not meant for you. That was for those unfamiliar with the tracking of the lineal heavyweight title. If you retire, you do vacate it. You can come back and then potentially work towards it quickly. That's happened before in the past. Fury never retired. He took a sabbatical. He had to deal with stuff. The lack of retirement means he retains the title until such time as he either does retire or it becomes abundantly clear that, he's not coming back. So he has always retained the lineal heavyweight title to this point.
So we have Prince Charles, who I believe won earlier, and he's the mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua's IBF title.
And we look, I hate to burst everyone's bubble. We're not getting Fury Joshua.
Well, that's where I was getting to. So at this point, maybe get Tyson Fury in there with Manuel Charr, if we can find him.
This might sound crazy. Fury said publicly in the lead up to this fight. Now, again, take this for whatever it's worth. Fury says a lot of things. He said he might be willing to walk away from boxing after this fight or maybe another one. Okay, yeah, on the replay you can see the towel come in.
Okay.
From Wilder's corner.
Okay, perfect.
So again, we might be just done with... Fury might walk away, which... Not the craziest thing in the world. He's accomplished pretty much everything he's going to accomplish, realistically. So, I don't know what he does if he retires. He's made a few professional wrestling appearances, for whatever that's worth.
Here's what I want to see happen. Tyson Fury shows up on Monday Night Raw, crowns Drew McIntyre with a chair 100 times. Drew McIntyre's out of WrestleMania. Brock Tyson Fury. Come on, give it to me.
Yeah, well, you're also advocating for 87-year-old Bill Goldberg with 2 bionic knees to become a champion in 2020.
I am. All right,
which makes only marginally less sense than scoring the first fight for Deontay Wilder.
That said, let's wrap this up real quick before my computer fucking shits out again.
Look, Tyson Fury is the heavyweight king of boxing. I don't care that Joshua has more belts. I respect Joshua as a fighter. There's a lot that's really good about his game.
There are at least 2 mandatory challengers stopping an immediate booking of Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, even though that is the fight to make.
Well, hang on. When I say that's never going to happen, I don't just mean that there's mandatory challengers. I mean Anthony Joshua is contracted to DAZN. Tyson Fury is contracted with, forgive me, I forget the promoter. It might be Top Rank.
Well, I want to. He's done some fights for. I want to say it's like MTK. I think it is.
Point being, he's not going to take a financial hit to fight on a non-pay-per-view platform. And Joshua can't fight anywhere other than DAZN.
Yeah, well, I'll leave it to the powers that be to work that out. But
seriously, anybody, I take this from people who know a lot more about the politics of boxing than I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's an impasse. That's not going to happen.
So we'll have two heavyweight champions at a minimum for a while. We'll have Anthony Joshua on the one side. We'll have either Tyson Fury or whoever ends up collecting these belts if he drops them going forward. He's giving his speech right now. We'll figure out what he's saying at a later date, and we'll talk about it on the next boxing card. In the meantime, next week we're taking a break. No MMA for me, no boxing. However, we've got two wrestling events. We've got Super Showdown, the aforementioned Super Showdown from the WWE, and AEW Revolution. I'll be recording with Larry Zonka after
For the
Revolution
record,
ends.
Those are both terrible.
So those will be up on Larry's podcast, Larry Zonka's podcast. And then March 1st, Sunday, March 1st, two back-to-back shows with the Podsman. First one will be Super Showdown, and then we'll start over again, and we'll do another one for Revolution. In case you don't, if you only want to hear one and not the other, you'll have that option without having, like a 3-hour podcast to have to sit through. However, if you are interested in more boxing and MMA, then on March 7th, we've got Adesanya versus Soldier of God. So, Yoel Romero, so myself and Robert Winfree will be doing coverage for that. And then we're back to boxing on March 14th with Shakur Stevenson versus Miguel Mariaga on ESPN. We may or may not be doing the fight on the 21st, but we will definitely be back for the 28th. Myself and John War are going to try to do back-to-back coverage of Virgil Ortiz versus Samuel Vargas on DAZN, and Artur Beterbiev versus Fan Long Meng. So that'll be fun. Another ESPN card. And that's going to be it for... Oh, and also on St. Patrick's Day, because I will already had him held captive, myself and Robert Winfree, we're going to drink Guinness. We're going to eat corned beef.
That will probably happen, actually.
We're gonna pinch each other.
I most certainly will not be touching you.
We're gonna wear green because it's St. Patrick's Day, and we're gonna do fight coverage from Michael Conlon, the Mick, versus Belmar Preciado on ESPN Plus. That'll be fun.
If you've enjoyed my tactical and technical analysis, such as it is for this fight, first of all, thank you. You will not be getting that for Michael Conlon fight. You will be getting my rendition of Lot's wife. For those of you not biblically inclined, I will be a pillar of salt.
Perfect. Can't wait. Put some of that salt on my corned beef.
Absolutely.
All right, folks.
Hang on. What song is Fury singing?
I'm too far away from my remote to tell you.
All right. Never mind.
All right,
he always sings a song. That is tradition for the Gypsy King.
Perfect.
Okay, as for myself, Mark ran down his stuff. This Tuesday on TV Party Tonight, Mark Radulich, Jesse Starcher, and I will be tackling the Netflix adaptation of Lock and Key, subtitled No Balls.
I'm up to episode 6, by the way. I've watched the first 5.
You get my complaint. You probably at this point understand the gist of.
I know why you hate this show. I absolutely do. This was less whatever it is you wanted it to be and more Riverdale. I don't even watch the show, but I could pick that up. That was clearly the intended audience. So,
yeah. So we're gonna have some fun talking about that.
I may be drunk. All right.
Okay, tune in for that. If you're interested in mixed martial arts, you can find me on Sundays hosting the 411 Ground and Pound MMA podcast. There was an event today, earlier, that I covered that we'll be talking about. We'll also preview the upcoming event that is a terrible card. the only fight on the upcoming card worth watching is the main event. So naturally, I will slog through the entire 6-hour broadcast, because me. So tune in for those, and the source material that I recorded with Alexis Haina and Jesse Starcher will be dropping on Monday about the first volume of Lock and Key. We recorded that a week ago, just dropping now, so tune in for that. And yeah, that's what I've got coming up. Thank you all very much for tuning in, for dealing with our minor jumps in the timeline as we dealt with Mark's computer issues. So thank you, everybody, again. Always appreciate you guys supporting us in whatever way you can. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. We don't care.
All right, for Robert Winfree of 401mania.com and the Damn You Hollywood podcast, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.